perpetual victimhood is the engine that conservatives use to justify the violence that they enact against others. The stuff conservatives fight for and enact, it can only be morally justified to them if they are constantly the victims of a war that they are fighting against. Okay, my Kyle Rittenhouse take. Okay, so to prepare for this segment, I have gone all out to educate myself on all the nuances of the trial. I've done this by watching 0 minutes of the trial. I know nothing. My head is empty. I know absolutely nothing. Now, what that means is that I have a unique perspective untainted by the flaws and biases of our judicial system. Now, that's what we would call, from the mind of babes, my baby brain. Quit spamming, Vermin, Jesus. No, in all seriousness, I've seen a couple of things. So as far as I can tell, let's get the technicalities out of the way here. Hold on. All them charges. So from what I've seen, it seems like there's just about no way that Kyle Rittenhouse is getting cuckarinoed with the first-degree reckless homicide. The murder charges, it just ain't happening. And from what I can see, it seems like that's legally defensible. Or I should say, the case that those charges would be dropped on account of self-defense, from what I've seen, it seems like that is the case. I'd be very surprised if he was convicted on those charges. If he does get exonerated of those charges, I don't think it's indicative of like a rigged outcome. I don't think it's like a bias. Like, I know the judge has been weird, but I don't think it means the judge is like, I don't think it was like some crazy conspiracy. It seems likely to me that he's going to get off on those charges, at least. There's some other stuff like the first degree recklessly endangering safety, use of a dangerous weapon, the curfew, possession of a dangerous weapon by a person under 18. He might get those. He probably will. They seem pretty objectively the case. But that's obviously not what we care about, right? So for me, the reason why I haven't been talking about Kyle Rittenhouse that much is because the technicalities of the self-defense charge aren't really that interesting to me, you know? They aren't really kind of like the point in my mind. Oh, the curfew citation's been dropped already? Oh, didn't know that. Yes, gotcha. Then never mind on that. They're not really the big kicker to me, you know? Let's talk about what Kyle Rittenhouse did, okay? Or what about Kyle Rittenhouse's behavior alarms me? It seems like from the evidence presented, the self-defense claim will probably exonerate him of the murder cases. So, we have that. But to me, the broader issue with Rittenhouse is all the stuff like surrounding the killings that took place, the deaths that took place, right? I mean, like, what mind state do you have to be in as a young person to like run out there, illegally acquire a firearm, to open carry at a protest, to defend property? This to me is a component of some of the most dangerous and destructive tendencies of American gun culture, Now, anyone who watches this stream should know, I love guns. I love self-defense. I was on stream just a few days ago yelling at lefties who didn't believe that you should be able to kill people who break into your house. I am very much pro-gun rights, so this is very much not an attack on people's right to possess firearms. With that being said, I want to be totally clear. Open carrying at protests is cancer like 99% of the time, okay? The Black Panther Party did a good job with it. They were very disciplined and orderly. 99% of the time, open carrying at protests is the behavior of bitch babies who are using the gun as a penis extension in an effort to terrorize often minority groups, okay? Let's be real here, okay? All of the fucking pseudo-tactical wannabe border patrol fucks who run around protests with their AR-15 and their tactical whatever. This, to me, this is the worst part of American gun culture for a few reasons. First of all, it does not make the world safer. Anyone who believes that it does is delusional. The idea that an armed society is a polite society is one which is not borne out in any data. Thank you. Second of all, it's kind of like, now, some people might say this is me being a weak, bleeding heart liberal, but I actually prefer it when public spaces don't have people brandishing or open carrying firearms. That's just my preference. When I go to Walmart or when I go to Taco Bell, I think it's cool when I don't have to shuffle past six hogs that are carrying between them $20,000 of tactical gear. I think that's great, you know? I think that's awesome. It's like it's like not wanting to be around stinky people. Now, I think you have a legal right to be stinky. A constitutional right to be stinky, you know? I'm not fighting against your constitutional right. I'm just saying that when I'm out there in the public space, I don't like being around stinky people. I think you should shower and wear deodorant. That's how I feel about open carry. It seems to me like open carry is kind of like the vestige of the worst recesses of our gun culture, you know? Guns are a tool of escalation of threat, a ubiquitous cultural status enhancer, heavily tied to masculinity, and something which is often used with great political bias to implicitly threaten harm against other groups, you know? That to me is well, it's just not good. And for Kyle Rittenhouse, as a young person, as a he was 17 when this happened, right? A 17-year-old to feel it necessary to go on out there and do all of that betrays such an insane cognitive and political bias, such a horrible borderline cult mentality, you know? I just the insane jarring dissonance, the psychopathy necessary. And I think, by the way, here are two arguments. First of all, Kyle Rittenhouse shouldn't have been there, and him going there was morally wrong. That's an argument that I believe in. And also, the self-defense claims are probably legitimate. That's also an argument I believe in. I don't think believing those two things makes you inconsistent in any way. I think, though, that if you're trying to argue it was right for Kyle Rittenhouse to be there, you're a fuckhead. Like, you're insanely stupid. Did Kyle Rittenhouse going there achieve anything? No. No violence was prevented, only caused. It was mathematically, objectively a worse outcome, unless you somehow think that him being there prevented greater violence. I don't know how you'd figure that one out, but him going there obviously made the world a slightly worse place. And the reason he went there is because he's up to the top of the headpan, you know, filled with the kind of delusional far-right militia mind bullshit that is pervasive in a lot of legal. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I could infer, you know? His behavior suggests to me that he kind of wanted to kill someone, right? Isn't that a really common conservative thing? Like, you see this on forums all the time. Like, they fantasize about being there at the protest so one of them can attack them and they can have a legit like excuse to shoot or whatever. Now, that's an inference on my part, an inference. I can't know that for sure. All I know is that Kyle Rittenhouse does seem to be chock full of that conservative brain rot based on the people he hang out with, the communities that he was a part of, his general behavior. Since then, wasn't he hanging out with Proud Boys after the thing? I don't remember. Was that someone else? Was that him who hung? It was? Okay, yeah. Vibes. He was singing Proud Boy songs. Yeah. So, it seems very likely to me that this was at least heavily influenced by this fantasy conservatives have of being given the legal right to kill a person. That doesn't really speak to the self-defense charge that much, because we're talking inferences here, but that is obviously something that we should discourage, you know? That's something that we should avoid. I mean, like underage boys running around because they want to play out a murder fantasy against civil rights protesters who they've been told are actually trying to destroy the country. Right? Why do they want to kill so bad? Because perpetual victimhood is the engine that conservatives use to justify the violence that they enact against others. The stuff conservatives fight for and enact, it can only be morally justified to them if they are constantly the victims of a war that they are fighting against. That's why, even with the war on Christmas stuff, they always have to be the besieged, honorable ones who then, and when they attack, it's retribution, it's self-defense, always. Now, of course, in this case, it might legally actually be self-defense, but I mean in a broader cultural sense, you know? Came out today. He was apparently trying to put out fire with a gun. We got in the place to shoot people. I can't believe anything chat says. With respect, Sin Phoenix. Not to say that I don't trust you. Only that I'm trying to run off the information that I know that I know, that I know that I don't know, and that I don't know that I don't know. I want to keep those all in separate categories. I can't speak much to the legal specifics here because, as I said, I have not watched the trial. The trial doesn't interest me that much. What interests me is a fight against the broader culture that allowed Kyle Rittenhouse to exist. And unfortunately, because people are stupid, because people are unimaginably stupid, a great many people are not going to be able to distinguish between whether or not his killings are written off as self-defense and whether or not what he did was generally morally correct. Conservatives are going to interpret his being let off on self-defense as an indication that he was morally in the right, provably morally in the right, to open carry at the BLM protest and all that stuff, all the lies that militia members tell themselves about defending property and all that bullshit. It is going to become a rallying cry. It's going to cause a lot more Kyle Rittenhouses. You guys know that, right? Now there are going to be a lot of people thinking, hey, you know, Kyle Rittenhouse got off. Kyle Rittenhouse got self-defense. He's going to be a martyr and a hero. Not a martyr, I guess, because he's going to get off for it. He's going to be a hero, you know, an avenging angel. What was he avenging? I don't know. Did the people he killed burn down any buildings? I don't think so. Avenging what? I don't know. But it's going to be an avenging angel situation. A story for the rest of them. And he'll probably run for politics. So we'll see if he causes any copycats or anything like that. We'll see. I have seen some people were spamming this in chat. Shu, as always, finding a way to take a reasonable talking point and making it stupid. People on the TL really trying hard to make Rittenhouse look cringe or whatever. I promise it's okay to say you were wrong. So I saw this and thought, uh-oh, does Shu believe that what Kyle Rittenhouse did was justified? But no, she doesn't. Down in the comment thread, she said, yeah, of course, I think he should have never did what he did, obviously, but he's not on trial for being dumb, he's on trial for murder. So even though it takes a bit of shaking, Shu does distinguish the difference between the moral rightness of what he did and the legal technicalities of the murder trial, which are two different things. Important to keep that in mind. You were wrong with your takes a few months ago. Which takes? Of course, he is very cringe. That is true. Mathematically proven, even. Very cringe. Nobody's making that distinction, though. It's true. It is going to be a very frustrating cultural talking point sometime. Did you see OmniLib say that Rittenhouse crime was lawful? I don't care. You said he had no case for self-defense. Did I? Now, it's entirely possible I said that, but I feel like I remember, even back like the day that Rittenhouse killed people, saying that my arguments were mostly moral, but that that whether or not it could actually get off for self-defense is defensible. I did? I did what? I did say he had no case for self-defense? If that's the case, then I was absolutely wrong. You had a bit of argument with Destiny about it? The argument with Destiny happened a few hours after the shooting. What about, like, the day afterwards? I've never heard you say any other than that legal defense was that self-defense was legally murky. I think I would have said that. I don't trust chat here. I wonder if I'm going to be gaslit here. I actually wonder if I should take a look at, like, my video from back then. Yeah, I remember talking about morals more so than the legal thing. I'm not a lawyer. Morally, everything that I say is based in true. Hold on. Did I have any videos in like titled Rittenhouse? Okay, well, hold on. The debate with Destiny was an hour 25. So if I open that and then I switch to... What about the transcription? Oh, Neptune32. If I was making claims about self-defense literally within a few hours of the shooting, I don't give a fuck about that. What I mean is, like, my takes afterwards. Like, a day or so afterward. Like, if we're gonna go like, hey, look, you said a thing that didn't turn out to be true a year ago, but 363 days ago, you said a thing that has turned out to be true. Like, yeah, it's not very meaningful to me. Wait, where do you find the transcription? I can't find it here. It's not here for this video. My face when Vosh declines to do an OK Buddy segment for the 5th time this month. Yeah. The best meme was the Nico Cotto avocado edit. Thank you. Rittenhouse recorded weeks before Kenosha saying he wished he had his fucking AR to shoot at people leaving CVS. Prosecutors say, That boy ain't right. Okay, does anyone know? Wait, I actually, because I know that if he gets exonerated, I know that if he gets exonerated on the self-defense stuff, that all the DGGers are going to be like, hey, you said, but because they don't, even Destiny didn't understand the argument that I was making. For months afterwards, he was saying that, like, a woman being raped couldn't shoot the people raping her. He had no fucking idea what I was saying. But I do wanna see if I said back then, Destiny not understand your arguments. Yeah, it's more likely than you might think. What about, I have one other video that has Rittenhouse in the title. Okay, open transcript. If I look for that, okay, I can't find that. It's because Google is conspiring against you. It's really the only explanation that makes any sense. Wait, chat. In the literal video of me debating Destiny, the pinned comment, which was made right after the video's release, says this. I feel like there's a very specific conditional, potentially legitimate take here, which defends the Kenosha shooter on the grounds of self-defense, and though I don't agree with it, I acknowledge its existence. Okay? Wait, so even back then I wasn't like, yeah, there's no way this gets self-defense. This is in the pinned comment. I admit the language here is fairly guarded, but, like, there's been a whole trial since then with evidence that has come out, right? Evidence that I haven't seen because I haven't seen the trial. This is literally the pinned comment under the debate. And then right here, it was like my thing was more about the moral behavior and Destiny's. Yeah, what? Okay, all right. You goobers. There we go. All charges dropped against Vosh. Thank you. Yeah, morally wrong, legally murky. Though from the pieces of evidence that I've seen, like for example, the like who raised the gun to shoot this, that, or the other, I don't think it's that legally murky anymore. I do think that he's got a solid case for the self-defense. I'd be very surprised if he was convicted on the murder charges. So we'll see. The homicide. You said Kyle should have put the gun down in the Noita stream / talking that one Destiny fan. Do you still agree with that? I think he should have put the gun down before going to Kenosha. What time? What time period? I don't remember the specific play-by-play of what happened in Kenosha. You mean when he was on the ground? I think... Did I say he should have dropped the gun after he killed the first guy? Okay, again, I haven't seen the trial, but if I recall correctly, the big sussy behavior here was that... So, after the first guy was killed, Rittenhouse, like, ran. He said, like, I think I just killed a guy. He ran for a few minutes, and then the second encounter took place where he shot that other guy, right? And then the other guy got his knee shot, right? That was what happened. There was the first one, and the guy threw a bag at him, and then Kyle turned around and shot him. And then he ran off. Arm, not knee, sorry. So, so again, like, you're asking me to remember from, like, a year ago, but I think that after the first person that he killed, him continuing to just wander around open carrying was pretty fucked, right? Again, this isn't a legal argument, but, like, even if you're acting entirely in self-defense, if you've just killed a person, like, just continuing, I don't know, like, I wonder. He said he was running to the police, but then later he didn't even, like, engage with the police, or he was, like, pretty out in the open. I don't know. I think I said something like that. But I would need to reestablish the I would need to reestablish the series of events for me to remember it fully, or like to make the better argument. After he killed the first person and he offered no assistance, even though he claimed to be a medic, he didn't call 911. He called his buddy that gave him the gun. He lied to his friend. He killed the first guy. He said he didn't kill anyone. Yeah, it wouldn't. Okay, I'll admit I don't actually know what the protocol is for shooting a person and then reporting yourself to the police, but I feel like staying in the area and calling 911 would be the thing to do, I imagine. I could be totally wrong on that. That would be like my assumption, I guess. But anyway, without, again, like I said, without reassessing or reviewing the series of events that took place, I wouldn't know exactly. In all seriousness, how long do you think we have before we get roving militias trying to kill people? We've been having this for decades, but it's gonna get worse if he gets off on self-defense. But this has been a thing for a long time. I mean, this ain't new. Judge Schroeder's phone rings in the middle of the Rittenhouse trial. Just happens to be the theme song from the Trump rallies when he walks on stage. Yeah, the judge has definitely been a little sussy himself. But again, I don't think that changes the statement that the self-defense claim seems legitimate. Thoughts on this loner box take about Rittenhouse? Seriously, when you guys try to say Rittenhouse fake crying in this clip, you look fucking deranged. He was a dumbass LARPer and he shouldn't have been there, but that had nothing to do with whether or not he was defending himself. He's almost 100% gonna walk fuck off. Not every tragic event needs to be shoehorned in some kind of hyper-convenient narrative of white supremacy versus social justice. If you want to talk about people encouraging the ideas of children turning up at a protest tonight with an AR-15, go ahead, but the rest is filling in blanks. I feel like there's a lot of, like, disparate points here. I think most of them are correct. I think that, like, hyper-committing to saying that he was faking the crying is probably pretty bad. But, like, I also liked this tweet. So, I mean, you can align me morally however you want. And I defended, too. Wow, 16,000. Holy shit, Ryan. Who retweeted you? This is funny as fuck. I don't care. 16,000? Jesus. When did... It was like 400 when I... Okay. Well, anyway. I don't get it. Explain. It's a Nikocado avocado. Nikocado. It's an avocado. Thank you. He absolutely was fake crying. I won't lie. It looked kind of fake to me. But, like, also I'm biased. I mean, wouldn't I just say that if I didn't like a person? If Kyle Rittenhouse was, like, a BLM protester defending himself against, like, Proud Boy shooters, I probably wouldn't be saying it was faked, right? So, yeah. You know what I mean? So, I have to acknowledge my bias there. However, here's the standard I have to set for myself, okay? Would I be okay with the Nikocado avocado meme being made, even if this was a Black Lives Matter protester crying at a trial while defending himself against murder charges for killing Proud Boy people who attacked him? And my answer to that is yes. I would like to believe that I'm principled enough that I would laugh at this either way. I have to believe that. Now, that's what we call moral consistency.